All right. Welcome in, Nagy Nation. We got a matchup here at First Energy in a blizzard that's not showing up in our game. The Cyclone Bomb, or Bomb Cyclone Bowl, if you will. But obviously we don't have control over that here in the sim. We would certainly bring that to you that way if we could. But Saints coming to town, First Energy, and likely to be a very run-heavy game. So lots of Kamara, lots of Chubb, and lots of action on the ground in this one as a big matchup here in Week 16, NFC versus AFC. But here comes Watson, and certainly looking to see what he does this week as we've seen steady progress from him and looking to re-attain his elite status as a quarterback. But interested to see how he looks against this defense, which is very good here for the Saints. So they're definitely a stalwart. You'll notice I am solo here on the broadcast today. Phil got a little busy with things going on for getting ready to get out of town, plus all the weather rolling in there in Ohio is causing his day to get a little bit more busy than he anticipated, so it'll be just me today on the call. But without further ado, we'll get this one kicked underway, and the Saints will take the first kickoff here from York. 1st and 10 from the 18, which is where it's returned. Welcome in, George. And go Browns. Yes, doesn't even look cool. Unfortunately, we have no control over that. It looks like a nice weather game here in the sim, but it certainly will be anything but if the forecasts hold, as we're expecting below zero temperatures, and actually you can't see the breath, so at least it's cold there, but lots of wind, lots of cold for the actual game expected. First snap here for Dalton, and really coverage sack coming as Myles Garrett gets home. Really nobody downfield for Dalton, and he just takes the pressure and isn't able to do anything with it, kind of stands there looking for somebody downfield, and Myles Garrett gets home. Big opening sack for number 95 as he got to Dalton in a hurry there, and Dalton had nowhere to go. And that will back up the Saints. Now inside of their own 5, I guess technically they called his forward progress at the 7, so at the 7, 2nd and 21. Out of the gun, Dalton surveying the field, standing on the goal line. He throws finally out to the outside. He's got his man. And that one picks up a fair amount of that sack yardage, plus 5 yards. Good to Hill, 3rd and 5. Dalton unloads out to the outside. There's the former Brown, Jarvis Landry, number 5 with these Saints, making his appearance back in First Energy Stadium for the first time since being a member of the Browns. I'm not sure what's going on with that, 504. Hopefully if you're in the chat, obviously you must be watching, but as Kamara's going to get his first carry, breaks a few tackles, and is going to get a first down here out near the 50, call it the 48 of the Saints. Welcome in, I Love Football. Go Browns. And welcome in Wendell and 504 also. Just me on the call today as Phil is engaged in getting ready to head out of town for a Christmas holiday for him and Mrs. Nagy on Sports. And then with the weather upcoming, his time evaporated. So just me on the call today for the Saints. 1st and 10 now, a little delayed handoff to Alvin Kamara. He's going to get a bunch of yardage up the middle of that defense, which has struggled against the run as D tackles have had a tendency to get moved out of position, out of their holes this season, out of their gaps. And Kamara's going to pick up 9 on that interior run. Welcome in, applied. 2nd and 1, handoff to Kamara. He's very close to the line to gain, and they're going to give it to him just barely over the line before he was shoved backwards. 1st and 10. Dalton back to pass over the middle, and just an errant pass there from Andy Dalton. Missed his target. He had his man available, but was unable to connect downfield. Will bring up a 2nd and 10. Yes, please stay safe, everyone. This is going to be some very ugly weather for most of the country, actually. So please be safe. take care of yourselves. I lived in Grand Forks, North Dakota for 5 years, so I know what it is to be in weather like that, and you really need to be careful with those kind of temperatures. So bundle up. Layers are important, and take care of yourself out there. And also the driving. Be careful with the driving. Can also be quite dangerous, especially in holiday season with people trying to get to various places for the holidays. Back to pass from under center. He unloads to Hill out on the outside, and that one picks up 8. His second reception for Hill. It's 24 yards for him. Dalton back to pass. He's got a man downfield, and he connects with Olave. And a nice little throw there, just setting up in the zone. And that is going to bring up a 1st and goal for the Saints. From the 2, under center, then the goal line set, little handoff to the fullback, and he's going to get in. Touchdown for the Saints after Ingram punches it in from the fullback position. And that one was a very easy march down the field kind of drive there for the Saints, really. Outside of that first sack for Myles Garrett on the very first snap of the ball game, the Saints really started from their 7 after that sack, and then proceeded to march all 93 yards with a bunch of positive plays. And the Browns really kind of shaken after that first drive. Defense looking a little bit suspect early in this one. So the kick is up, and it is good. 7-0 for the Saints after their opening drive success. Welcome in, Chris G. Welcome in, Kevin. Good to have you guys. Go Browns. Man, Wendell, I'd love to see Ohio State beat Georgia. That would be incredible. Now it's going to be a very tough matchup for Ohio State, as Georgia does a lot of the same kind of things that Michigan did to Ohio State, and very well could be a difficult matchup to overcome. But certainly they've got the talent. If they can control the pace of the game, I think that's going to be the biggest part. If they can control the pace of the game, get the pace that they want to have going, kind of that flurry of attack constantly, pushing the ball downfield, then it bodes well for Ohio State. 1st and 10 out of the pistol. Look, Nick Chubb, a little handoff up the middle. He's got some room. The tackle is out to the outside. Almost escaped. That was almost very dangerous. Only ended up netting 5 yards, but looked pretty cool there for a minute when it looked like he might break to the outside. Nick Chubb again with a handoff. He's going to take some contact after the line of scrimmage and pick up 2. 3rd and 3 here for the Browns. Welcome in, Mason. Yes, there has been moments of suspect throughout much of the season. Now, Watson is going to unload, but I think he got roughed. So a free 1st down coming for the Browns. And sure enough, that is the call. As you saw, 2 Saints defenders right in his mug as he was unloading out to the outside. Not a good pass, but didn't matter, as the Browns are going to pick that one up on the back of the yellow flag. Oh, boot action for Watson. He's going to take a sack here. Just runs right into the edge. And they need to block that up as Cameron Jordan gets home. They need to block that out on the perimeter as Conklin just gets beat out on the outside. If you're going to boot to the outside, you either have to scramble outside of the defender, or you need to make sure that your blocking scheme works to prevent that pressure from coming out on the outside into the boot. But that, unfortunately, is trademark Madden, as the boot into pressure is very common in this game. Hey, welcome in, Diablo. 2nd and 19, little handoff to Chubb. He's going to run over a defender and then take more contact and pick up a number of yards. 3rd and 14. Now out of the gun. He's got trips to his left, little bunch formation after the motion and hand. Oh, just overshoots Cooper. An odd misfire there from Watson. He didn't have any real pressure coming and just missed Cooper, which, Cooper had some separation. Nice little route from him, but an errant throw on the part of Watson leads to a punt, and the Saints are going to take over with some momentum in their corner after managing to stop this Browns attack and with a 7-0 lead. We'll see what they do here on their second drive. Now Dalton back to pass, throws to the outside, and a nice defense there from JJ3, able to break that one up as he was right there as the ball arrived and poked it out. 2nd and 10. Out of the gun, back to pass, 4-man rush. He's got a man over the middle there, and Kamara picks up that on the little outlet dump off for 3-yard pickup. 3rd and 7. 4-man rush as Dalton is back to pass. He throws over the middle. He's got his man. And more Jarvis Landry here making his presence felt. And obviously, Jarvis Landry was a huge part of the culture shift for Cleveland, really stemming from the year that the Browns were on Hard Knocks. We all saw that contagious video of him in the wide receiver room, and really that was absolutely a big part of what he brought to the team. That endless leadership and energy and will, just the will to be the best possible version of yourself, and really the pro mentality that it takes to be a winning organization. That was a bit of a bad throw, but we'll see what the flag is. Possibly a hold, or it is a hold. And so the Saints are going to go backwards, digging a bit of a hole for themselves here. And now 2nd and 20 for the Saints. Back to pass. Over the middle. Actually, out to the outside. I thought he was going over the middle, but actually dials uphill out to the perimeter and gets them within 5 yards, picks up 15 yards on 2nd down there to Hill. Nice little flag route. Opens up nicely, and Newsome right there, but unable to make a play and just has to settle for the tackle. Now a 3rd and 5. Out of the gun, bunch formation, tight to the right. Back to passes, Dalton, 4-man rush, pressure coming, and he unloads to Olave over the middle. Nobody there, and he makes a man miss. Ohio State on Ohio State crime, as Denzel Ward was absolutely juked out of his shorts as Olave just made him look silly there for a moment and picks up some extra yardage. Really can't allow Olave to be open in space like that. He is very dangerous on those kind of underneath passes in space. He can make some stuff happen there. And, of course, he's always a deep threat, too. So you got to watch out for number 12. 1st and 10. A single back, little wham concept here, and that one is going to work nicely for Kamara, who makes another man miss as these Browns are giving up chunk yardage here in the run game. And Kamara has have a big game already here. Hey, Fellegren, welcome in. Go Browns. Yeah, it will be really neat to have hockey going on in First Energy. I agree, Applied. Well, I formation under center for Dalton. He hands it off to Kamara, who is going to get swarmed by the Browns defense, but not before he picks up 6 yards. 2nd and 4. Out of the gun, spread him out. Oh, intercepted! Just jumped the route as Newsome, and what a pick! That looked a lot like the Denzel Ward pick in this last game in real life, as he just forced his way in front of the receiver and takes the ball away. Does Newsome, and what a pick that was. The defense comes up huge with a turnover, shutting down the second drive that was looking just as successful as the first, and that's a big turn of events, as now the Browns, if they can get something going on offense, can get right back into this game and hopefully build some momentum here. A little pistol look for the Browns. Chubb, the single back. Well, handoff does go to Chubb. Big hole out to the outside, and he's going to pick up about 7. We'll call it 8, 2nd and 2. And yes, that was Newsome's first pick of the year. If that were to happen in real life, that would be his first. He should have had one earlier this season, but unfortunately dropped it. 3rd and 1 after a 1-yard pickup from Kareem Hunt. Out of the gun. Nick Chubb, the single back, is going to get the handoff. Little inside zone concept, and it's going to be enough to pick up the 1st down as they spread him out and then blocked it up for an inside zone. And Chubb finds the crease and gets the first down. Look there at Allen, head coach for these Saints. 1st and 10. Both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in the backfield, flanking, and a little handoff to Chubb is only going to net 1 yard. 2nd and 9, back to pass, pressure coming, he's going to unload, and just throws that one away out to the perimeter. 3rd and 9. Avoids the sack by throwing the ball away. 3rd and 9. And an ugly underthrow there. Not sure what he was trying to do. Maybe just force an incompletion, but there were more defenders in the area than there were receivers for the Browns. But the Browns are going to have to kick yet again on their second drive, and the punt ends up, that's how the first 2 drives have both ended. It has ended in punts. So Browns offense continuing to struggle as the Saints have had a lot more success on offense, and the Browns offense does not capitalize on the turnover from Greg Newsome, as Dalton is going to miss wide out on the outside, as seemed to be a little bit off, was not on the same page as his receiver out there. Now underneath hits Jarvis Landry again. And Landry having a pretty good game here, now 3 receptions for 45 yards. I don't know that that's very likely in the modern NFL, Mason. I mean, maybe some special talent at some point will come and play both ways, but just no discredit to Primetime. That's incredible that he was able to do that kind of stuff. But anymore, it just seems so unlikely that somebody is going to be doing anything like that. Maybe in a very specific package play kind of thing, like, Myles Garrett's always been itching to try to play some offense. Maybe he could do some fun things on offense, but at the same time, you pay the guys for one thing, and you don't want to risk injury doing other things, playing out of position. So I don't know that that's very likely, as coming wide open out on the perimeter is Hill. I'm not sure what Delpit was doing, but he was kind of losing a step on that route to Hill. And Hill picks up 26, and he's had a big game for the Saints. We expect, obviously, quite a bit of action for him, but more so out of the Wildcat and not less out of the tight end spot with this bomb cyclone coming in, as Greedy Williams with a nice pass break up there in the end zone to prevent a Saints touchdown. Second and 10. 4-man rush. Surveying and throws. It's picked again. Another pick for Newsome as he picks up his second, jumping another route. And that was just a sweet play from Newsome. He just read that one all the way and just forced his way in front again to make a nice pick. Look at this. He just found his way out in front of Ingram and takes the ball away again. Let's see if this offense finally can find the spark after this defense has done really nice things to set them up, handing them the ball back twice without allowing the Saints to score. But we really need the offense to do something with it here. Kareem Hunt lined up in the fullback position in an eye. Chubb, the running back, he's going to get the fake to the handoff. They're going to unload over the middle after play action. That's DPJ over the middle. Only the first completion for Watson after 5 throws. So Watson with a very, very slow start to this ball game, but finally on the stat sheet with a positive stat, connecting with DPJ over the middle. Now under center, 2 tight end set. Little fake to Chubb, boot action. He's going to throw over the middle and miss again as Watson's rough day continues. Now 1 for 6 and only 14 yards. 2nd and 10. Little handoff, Nick Chubb, pressure right in his face, and he's going to get tackled right there, actually behind the line of scrimmage. Brings up a 3rd and 12. No, Dion, we've actually seen, welcome in by the way, we've seen RPOs quite a bit already in the real Browns action. I think they've had it some in Madden. It's hard to tell in Madden when it's an RPO. The mechanics for the RPO is, or the algorithm for RPO is not particularly good in my opinion. We do have them in the playbook though, so they do occur sometimes. The little angle route's going to get near the first down, but call it a 4th and 1 from the 47. Likely the Browns in real life would go for this, although I suspect that the digital Browns will probably look to punt. But yes, the real Browns have run quite a few RPOs. If you look at some of the film breakdown that's available out there from the Orange and Brown report and some other sources. But yeah, the RPOs have been there, and Deshaun Watson has done a nice job with those RPOs. But has a nice punt there. Is inside of the 20, out of the 16. And so that is where the Saints will take over. But yeah, even though the RPO game is in the playbook, it's hard to identify them in Madden. As the pressure's going to get home, Taven Bryan with a sack. As that one, we'll see what happened there. I wasn't looking. Yeah, they brought a little blitz action here, and they looked to pick up Fields at the expense of letting Taven Bryan loose, and Taven Bryan comes away with that sack. Interesting little handoff there. I think some miscommunication on the line for the Saints led to that sack. 2nd and 16. Handoff gone awry as another sack's going to come, and not quite in the end zone. They're going to call it on the 1 yard line, as Isaiah Thomas gets home for a sack. That one very close to a safety, but you can see the ball is just out of the end zone as he's being tackled. And so Dalton is not going to give up the safety there. But 2 sacks in a row for these Browns defenses. They are clearly fired up and trying to get this offense into the game with some excellent play on defense. Now, the shortest penalty in the history of the NFL, as from the half-inch line, the Saints jump, and so we'll be on the quarter-inch line. 3rd and 26. Ball handoff right up the middle. He's not going to get out of the end zone, or does he? Oh, they say he just got out. Oh, that one should have been a tackle for loss, but somehow he got it past the line of scrimmage. As you see the contact comes by, and I guess they're saying that little spin that he made got him out of the end zone there. I thought for a minute they were going to give him a safety. Very close, as the Saints are going to have to punt. And you can see how crowded the punter is here. Prime opportunity for a block, but Browns don't get there. But they're going to get some excellent field position here as DPJ spins his way out of a tackle and gets out to the 42-yard line of the Saints. Best field position by far for these Browns. And this defense has been playing with their hair on fire after that first really ugly drive for 7 from the Saints. After that, they've been outstanding. And now the Browns offense has to respond. Nick Chubb right up the middle. He's going to pick up a number of yards, call it 6. He has now carried the ball 8 times for 28 yards. 2nd and 4 out of the gun. Kareem Hunt on the right hip. Surveying, escaping the pocket, and just going to throw that one away as the pressure was getting close to getting home. 3rd and 4. Now out of the gun, Sean Watson surveying, 4-man rush, not finding anything. He's going to throw this one away. Also brings up a 4th and 4 and a really long field goal attempt. Call it a 53-yarder. Kick is up. And the kick is no good. Yuck. As the Saints are going to take over some nice field position of their own, as Cade York is no good. Wide right on the 53-yard field goal attempt. And You know how we feel about those things here on Nagy Sports. Not a fan of the long kick with a kicker that doesn't seem in game, at least able to kick the long field goals. 1st and 10, the flag, and he does complete the ball out to the outside. That's the Taysom Hill. But a hold is going to bring this one back. And yes, Mason, the offense has been quite bad for the Browns so far in this one. 1st and 20 now for the Saints after that hold. 4-man rush. He's going to unload over the middle. He's got a man. And that one is going to be complete for 7 yards as Smith comes away with his second reception. Dalton back to pass. 2-man in his face, but Jarvis Landry does open up and get a reception on that play, bringing up a 3rd and 4. His 4th now. Another 4-man rush. He throws to the outside to his outlet. That's Ingram. Ingram breaks a tackle, but then steps out of bounds as Newsome is just able to keep that one from breaking loose as he pushed him out of bounds at the end of the tackle. That was very fortunate because if Newsome doesn't come away with that, with enough to get him out of bounds there, he's loose for quite a bit of yardage. You can see the Browns defense was lagging well behind the play up there, and nobody there to prevent him from getting the first down, and probably quite a bit more for Ingram. So instead, the Saints are going to punt here, as the Browns defense steps up yet again. Well, let's see what happens here, as this offense really has been struggling so far in this game. They need to get something going badly. They're going to start from their 12 here on this drive. Pressure coming in his face, and he's going to take a safety. Yuck. Ew. Trying to set up a screen here to Kareem Hunt, but Watson inadvisably backs up into his end zone, does not get rid of the ball, pressure right in his face, doesn't even try to make the guy miss, which is very un-Watson-like, and a gross safety after some horrible maddening going on. Unfortunately, incredibly unrealistic. I don't expect the Browns would be very likely to take a safety in that spot, and then proceed to follow that up with the worst possible thing you can do on a safety punt, to kick the ball out of bounds, giving the Saints the ball at the 50-yard line. That is disgusting. What a horrible turn of events, as this Browns defense is going to have to find another stop. And they're, again, put in a really bad spot. 8:30 left in the half. And the Saints with lots of momentum. And of course, as soon as you do that, the Saints exploiting that middle of the defensive line and bursting another run for, call it 12 yards. Yeah. It's not been good, that's for sure, Mason. It's not been good. 9-0 now for the Saints, driving on the 37-yard line. Back to pass over the middle. He's got his man. Smith picks up another completion. Call it for 7. 2nd and 3. Out of the gun, back to pass for Dalton. 4-man rush. He unloads to Ingram, his outlet, and he is going to have enough to pick up the first down. Yeah, no, we don't expect nearly this much throwing in the real game with the winds the way they're going to be. I mean, there were some forecasts that were looking at like 60-mile-an-hour gusts, and if that's the case, I mean, we could expect something pretty similar with much colder temperatures, obviously, but pretty similar to what Watson experienced as Denzel Ward almost comes away with a pick. But something similar to what Watson experienced in Cleveland when he was still a Texan. That wind howling game where he really struggled to throw the ball, and the Browns came away with a very low-scoring win. 3rd and 10. Pressure coming out to the outside, and another sack for these Browns as Isaiah Thomas gets his second of the ball game, and that's going to bring up a 4th down as this defense continues to be absolutely unyielding. Even in bad spots, they're finding ways to make plays. But unfortunately, because of all the ugly and where they started, the Saints Saints are likely to be able to kick a field goal here and put points on the board in spite of the incredible effort from this defense. Kick is up. Looks like it's got the distance, and it is good. As Lutz puts it through the upright. And that will make the score 12-0. You know, your typical football score. And now a nice little return out to the outside. That's Darden on the kickoff return as he makes it out to the 38. Hey, welcome in, Karen. Go Browns. As you're joining us for a very ugly offensive effort here from the Browns, Kareem Hunt with a carry, and he's not going to have a lot of room to work with. Pickup of only 2 on first down. Brings up a 2nd and 8. 3 receivers to the left out of the gun. Little handoff to Nick Chubb. The blockers were pushed backwards, oddly, as you saw Posick and Batonio both behind the line of scrimmage getting blown up on that effort. Brings up a 3rd and 7. Now unloading out to the outside. He's got a man wide open, but misses DPJ as yet another errant throw from Watson. And Watson has been just off all day long. Really ugly as this actually should have a flag on it. You saw the kicker get ran into at least. It wouldn't be enough for a first down if it was a running into the kicker. That's only a 5-yard penalty. But no penalty coming at all. Oddly, you'd have thought at least the running into, because you saw the punter go down. But instead, the Saints are going to get the ball after a touchback on their 20. A handoff up the middle, and that is good for a whole bunch of yards. They're going to get at least 9 here. Ingram on his second carry of the ball game picks up 9, 2nd and 1. Now unloads over the middle. He's got Taysom Hill again. And Taysom Hill has had a very big game, but not in the way we expect. He's been doing it mostly as a tight end in this one. And we expect him to be doing it more so as the quarterback in the Wildcat look when the real Saints come to town with the weather as expected. 1st and 10. Little fake the jet sweep and hands it off. But that time the Browns defense swarmed pretty nicely and held the Saints to only a 1-yard pickup. Now emptying out the backfield. Unloads does Dalton. And Jones there on the coverage, but not before the Saints pick up 8. A 3rd and 1 coming. A single back. Little handoff to the single back. He's got some room, but the Browns defense meets him at the line. And that one's very close. We'll see if Washington got it. He did. They gave him the credit of first down. Interesting. I thought for sure they had him short, but they're going to say his forward momentum got him just past the line. I don't know. That was close. We'll see where Washington ends up, see if we get a better look at it. You can see the halfway between the 2 yards is where the first down was. But it was, man, that was tight. We'll hand off on the outside. Yeah, I mean, I think Diablo, to your point about Madden hating Watson, I think there's a social justice aspect to the way that Madden treats players. I mean, we saw some of that with the unnecessary nerfing of Myles Garrett after the helmet blow. They literally took away his superstar X Factor. He was not a superstar X Factor after that, and they nerfed him quite a bit. And he really struggled in Madden as a result. As now he's a 99, and speaking of him, there is a nice sack from Myles. But, he's a 99 overall. It's not like his actual performance after the suspension suffered. He was just as good when he came back from that suspension as he had ever been. But Madden gave him a huge nerf bat, taking away a superstar X Factor and really degrading his overall stats on basically a social justice call, which is absurd, has nothing to do with performance on the field. And I think the same is probably true with Watson, and we're seeing some of that here in this game, which is unfortunate. It shouldn't be the case. As Watson is going to oddly throw to nobody except for the Saints defender, who was in a position looking like a wide receiver. That was really weird. I don't know what that was, but that was awful. As Watson, I suppose there was some pressure. He was trying to get it out to Njoku, but left it well short. And May just comes away with an easy interception right over the shoulder, like he was throwing to him. And so, Saints with the ball, driving again. And here comes Myles Garrett, is going to get another sack. Ball's out! Myles Garrett recovers his own forced fumble. And this defense, man, cannot say enough about what this defense has done, as they're going to get yet another turnover. I'm going to see if this one gets reviewed. It did look late. I'm not sure if he was actually down. Nope, ball's out before the knee came out, or knee hit the ground. So that one is, in fact, a turnover, and Myles Garrett does it all right there. The forced fumble on the sack and the recovery himself. As the Browns' offense has got to do something with this. As many turnovers as the defense has given you, you've got to score points. As Deshaun Watson is going to escape the pocket there and pick up 2 yards, 2nd and 8. But that's going to start with number 4, as he really needs to get going. Throwing to the outside, Kareem Hunt. He's got some yardage out on the perimeter. It's going to pick up enough to get them within 1. 3rd and 1. Now out of the gun, bunch formation to the left. Pressure coming right at the face, setting up. Oh no, trying to set up a screen, and Watson's going to return the favor with his own fumble, and the Saints are going to get the ball right back with a minute left in the half, and enough time and the field position to score. As you almost see Watson just like throwing the ball out of his hand here as he takes the contact. That's gross. Secure the football, sir. Which I'm sure the real Watson would have done if he hadn't already scrambled to escape the pressure, let alone, throw it away at a minimum. That's just all kinds of not realistic, and Maddens again. There's Taysom Hill again on the underneath, as he has been doing that consistently throughout this game. Picks up 7 for a 2nd and 3. Yeah, we like to see fair games too, 504. Yeah, it's never fun when one team is just getting the constant benefit of the maddening and the other team is just getting absolutely hosed in the process. Whether we don't even like seeing that for other teams, teams that we're playing, we don't like seeing the maddening stuff happen to anybody. Because it's just not realistic, and that's what we try to strive for here on the channel, and this stuff is just, it's not even true life. This, occasionally in football you will see some stuff that is real head-scratcher, weird things that do happen, but not at the level and consistency that you see here in Madden. Just inexplicable things that you can't go and explain away as oh, that happens sometimes. Not at that level, it doesn't. Not at the NFL. As he's going to unload for the end zone, but knocked away. Nice defense. Brings up a 4th and 5 and a field goal attempt for Lutz. The kick is up. The kick is good. And so the Saints are going to take a 15-0 lead entering halftime. And credit this defense for keeping this a still, within reach ball game. Because this could very well be a very lopsided score. I mean, it probably should be something in the neighborhood of like 35-0 with the way the Browns offense has played. But the defense has absolutely kept them in this somehow, and only a 15-0 scoreline to enter half as the Browns are going to be content to run out the clock and hopefully make some halftime adjustments, because this has been some ugly, ugly offense for the Browns. As you can see, their horrific numbers there, as they are really struggling in this ball game. Here's a look at the games this week that they're going to highlight in their halftime, and Phil is otherwise occupied with things he's got going around the house, trying to prep for the weather, and then also he's headed out on vacation for the Christmas holiday here. So he is quite busy today, which is why I am solo on the call today, and will be as well for the next one. He'll be pre-recording the Washington game, which I'll bring to you live later, prior to the game against the Commanders. And so we'll see what that man there does in this second half, as he's got to find a way to get his quarterback comfortable back there, as Watson has been incredibly uncomfortable and doing some really ugly things in the passing game, and the run game really hasn't been that successful either for these Browns. And so we'll see what kind of answers they have as they're going to get their first crack at the second half with the opening drive of the second half. Appreciate that, Diablo. Thanks. We'll hand off to Nick Chubb inside zone, and he is going to pick up no yards on first down. 2nd and 10. Now under center for Watson. Single back is Chubb. Back to pass on a 3-step drop. He's going to unload to his outlet and just throw another errant pass. He just overled Nick Chubb on the little swing pass and missed the outlet, which is, I mean, that's a pretty easy throw. Not sure what's going on with Watson, but he is quite off today. 3rd and 10. And he is going to step into the pressure and take a sack. Again, this is not at all like the real Deshaun Watson. We've seen him, I mean, he has been uncomfortable at times in the pocket. Don't get me wrong. There have been times where he's looked uncomfortable back there, scrambled perhaps before he needed to, almost like this right there. But what he's not doing is stepping into Cameron Jordan. He's not stepping into the rush lanes. He's finding ways to escape the pocket, escape the pressure, because he's elusive with the ball in his hands in the backfield. He gives you that. He does not do nonsense like that and take an ugly sack for no reason. 4th and 18. As kick coverage is quite good on that one. MJ Emerson down the field to make that tackle. Yeah, it really is foul ground. This has been a very painful game to watch. It is what it is. But this has been a heavy dosage of maddening in this ball game. And this time the Browns defense is going to step up huge, as Ingram is going to be tackled really at the mesh point, and a 4-yard loss there as Myles Garrett and one other met him right there. 2nd and 14 over the middle. He's got a man that is Smith with his 5th or so reception of the ball game. 4th reception for 44 yards. 3rd and 5 now. Dalton, he unloads. He's got a man, but he knocked it loose just as the ball got there. And credit Newsome, who is having a whale of a ball game with forcing that incompletion with the contact. Nicely timed by Newsome to jar the ball loose. 4th and 5 brings up the punting unit for the Saints. And DPJ is going to recover that one out to the 23. Yeah, it's been a really fun game for the defense. The defense has been playing lights out. That's why it's still even within reach, this ball game, because it would be an absolute blowout if the defense were struggling in this game. But it's been the offense that has been absolutely woeful. As a flag coming, that might be roughing the passer, as Njoku's going to get the reception. Oh no, they're going to call a hold, and that's going to wipe out one of the most successful passing plays for the Browns in this ball game. 1st and 20. A little fake handoff up the middle. He's going to boot out to the left, and he's just going to I thought he was going to run for a second, but he unloads downfield for a throwaway, 2nd and 20. That was kind of odd. Now handoff, because why not? Here's Kareem Hunt forcing his way through some traffic, but that's going to be well short of the line to gain. Only a pickup of 4, 3rd and 16. Spreading them out wide. Watson in the pocket, scrambling, trying to escape, throws way back across his body inadvisably, and throws it well short. Fortunately, because a defender was right there in a position to make an interception. And the Browns will punt yet again. And MJ Emerson on another tackle for special teams. Yeah, of course they will. Even the digital refs are out to get the Cleveland Browns. Little handoff. He's got a little bit of a lane there to Washington, but he only picks up 3 of the defense rallied to make a tackle there. From under center, back to pass. He unloads under pressure, and little pinball action with the ball. Nearly a reception, then nearly a pick, then nearly a reception again. But it eventually does fall to the turf harmlessly. 3rd and 7 for an incomplete. Thrown out to the outside. He's got a man, but MJ Emerson right there makes a nice physical play on the receiver as the ball arrives to jar it loose. And an incomplete pass. 4th and 7 brings up the punt. And this offense will have yet another shot to get anything going. With 10:35 here in the 3rd quarter, they have got to show some signs of life and have to get something going. 1st and 10 out of the 8th formation. Watson back to pass, 5-step drop. He throws to the outside and incomplete, as it looked like his receiver was out of bounds. Little handoff up the middle. There's Kareem Hunt with some room, and he's going to get a 1st down. As Kareem Hunt, a little inside zone, spread him out wide, and then created some space up the middle on the inside zone. And Kareem Hunt picks up a number of yards and a much-needed 1st down for these Browns. Hey, Terry, welcome in. They've actually targeted Cooper, but it's just that Watson has been incredibly inaccurate in this ballgame and has missed Cooper a number of times. I think he's had at least 2 or 3 targets, but they've all been misses. 1st and 10. Little handoff to Chubb up the middle, and he's not going to have as much success on that run. Only a pickup of 2, 2nd and 8. Back to pass. Over the middle to Kareem Hunt but he's going to fumble! Oh, no! As Watson is out there to make a tackle on Tyrann Mathieu. Yuck. And the Honey Badger picks up the ball after the Kareem Hunt fumble. That was a nice little angle route, and Kareem Hunt just in the middle of the pile gets the ball jarred loose. Just punched out. And the Saints with a turnover. And now tied up the turnover margin, 3-3. 1st and 10. A little angle route of their own. That one goes as a little wide receiver angle route to Landry. 5-yard pickup. 2nd and 5. 4-man rush. Throws to the outside. He's got a man. That's Olave, who is past the line to gain. Now in a I formation on the 20-yard line. Little handoff to Washington. He's got a lane, and he's going to get to the line to gain. A 10-yard pickup for Washington. His 7th carry of the ball game. And now the Saints knocking on the door at the 10-yard line. Oh yeah, if this were to happen with the real Watson, which by the way I think is incredibly unlikely, we'll see a game like this from Watson in his entire tenure as a Browns quarterback. I think this would be just beyond the pale of what is likely, as A nice, fumble! Ball's out, the Browns have it! Unbelievable. Ward with the reception. I don't know who punched it out. But as the whole game has gone, yet another improbable, incredible effort as Washington just has the ball ripped loose right on the 1 yard line. It looked like he had an opportunity to score, but just before he could get to the end zone, the Browns pull the ball loose, and Ward gets it on the 1, which is where this offense will start. Nick Chubb right up the middle. He's going to safely get them out of the shadow of their own end zone with a little bit of breathing room here. 2nd and 5. What a day for this defense. Still a 15-0 ball game somehow, and I'm not sure how. Is Kareem Hunt now with a hole out on the outside, and he's going to pick up a first down and give them yet more space to operate with, and that is so important. The real Sim Felger. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that this is the most realistic sim we've ever simmed. It seems pretty far from, but I'll say this defense has been incredible to watch. This should be a 45-0 shellacking right now as Nick Chubb carries the ball, and yet somehow with all that momentum and all that incredible, shutdown of this Browns offense, somehow the defense has done enough to keep the Browns offense still in this, as Nick Chubb is going to pick up a first down. And finally, the run game seems to have some life here, but still somehow a 15-0 ball game. And should the Browns finally find a way to put away a drive and end it in the end zone, this game takes on a very different timber, and potentially, because the defense has magically kept them in this. And this, if they can capitalize on this drive, this would be a 99-yard drive if they can make it all the way into the end zone, because they started on their own 1. 2nd and 6. After a 4-yard pickup for Chubb, the run game is working. We've got to get Watson going here, though, out of the gun. He does hand it off to Kareem Hunt, who's going to pick up. Actually, they're going to say he got him at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 6. Out of the gun, spread him out wide. Watson, he's got a man out on the outside and does connect with Njoku, who fights his way for more yards out to the perimeter, and gets pushed out of bounds, but not before he picked up another critical first down, and one after a successful completion. Decently nice throw from Watson, even on target, you might say. But Chief does some excellent work out there to fight for some extra yardage out to the perimeter. All right, 1st and 10. Out of the gun. Kareem Hunt on the right hip. He's going to hand it off to Kareem Hunt, and he does have some room up the middle, nicely blocked up front. And you can see having Posick back having some effect out there for the run blocking in the middle in particular. 2nd and 6. Back to pass. Watson, he's got a man out of the outside. That's Cooper finally able to connect with his number 1 receiver, as that was a big play here. And finally, this offense seems to be rolling a little bit, both run and pass working, as you see the run start to get going, and that opens up some of the passing lanes, and Watson finally on target for once. And it feels like a completely different new offense out here. Nick Chubb going to get the ball. He's got some room. He's going to get to the first down and then some, out past the 30 to the 29. Nick Chubb rolling here. Now Cleveland rushing attack over 100 yards between Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And finally having some success on this drive and threatening here inside the 30. Yeah, absolutely, fella. Going to love that about the Chief. So physical and just an absolute competitor. Love it. 1st and 10. Out of the gun. Scrambling and an ugly sack. Just when you thought this offense had some things figured out, they're going to give up another ugly quarterback-induced sack as Watson does very un-Watson-like things and scrambles into pressure. That would be the time right there in that spot to climb the pocket and to find a lane to escape, or possibly keep your eyes downfield as you work up the pocket and potentially find a receiver popping open, but Watson does none of that. Delayed handoff fake, Watson to the outside to his outlet. That's Njoku, who has an ugly, ugly drop, brings up a 3rd and 21. Now emptying out the backfield, Watson out of the gun. Pressure coming in his face in a little tight end, Cooper on a little slant route there. But that is not nearly enough to pick up a first down, so it brings up a 4th and 13. It's a minute 25 in the third quarter. Probably only going to settle for a field goal here, which feels awfully gross after the success they had on that drive. Just unable to maintain it, and it comes down to yet more ugly Watson play, as this one will be a 48-yarder. Kick is up. It's got the distance. The kick is good. So the Browns finally on the board. A 15-3 ball game with glimmers of hope out there for this offense. Obviously, the defense is going to have to continue to play at their incredible pace that they have put up so far today. But this offense finally does manage to put some points on the board. And although that was not the drive you were looking for in terms of, putting it into the end zone and changing the complexion of the ball game, it does at least shift somewhat the field. As yet another huge play right up the gut. Tommy Togiai in there for a sack. And that one, he's been a bit inactive and a bit unsuccessful on the season, as we haven't seen a lot out of him. But he does get home in a hurry there. And there's some definite doubt and question mark about his future with the Browns, as he has been a lot less successful than folks might have thought he would be at this point. As a wide open man out there is Smith. And Trayvon Smith goes for a first down for the Saints. All right, 5:04 calling for a pick six here. And that would be a huge way to get the team back, or these Browns back into the ball game, if this defense can find a way to score, as they have been the real highlight of the Browns' entire effort all day has been this defense. So if they can find a way to score, that could hopefully get the offense on the right track, and able to, hopefully able to actually score some points, some additional points of their own. 1st and 10, Dalton. That should have been it! That was it! Newsome lost a surefire pick six. He had it in his hands. It would have been his 3rd pick of the ball game, and he just dropped it. He had so much room to work with. 3rd and 4 now after that Kamara run. 4-man rush, throws to the outside, setting up a little screen, and that one's not going to get there, as this defense stands tall yet again. 4th and 4, stopping the Saints' attack. And so the Saints are going to punt. Nice little play there from MJ Emerson out on the perimeter to keep that one short of the line to gain. So the Saints will punt. And that one is going to go into the end zone for a touchback. Out of the gun, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb flanking either side. Little handoff to Nick Chubb. He's going to run over a defender and get to the line to gain. Out to the 35-yard line is Nick Chubb. Nice. I'll call it the 34. So a 14-yard pickup there for Nick Chubb. And this run attack clearly is on the right track here, gaining some nice yardage. As you see, Hunt absolutely whiffed his block, but that's Taylor, who Chubb just bullies and runs right over, as it was a whiffed block from Hunt that set that up, but Chubb didn't care either way. as he is now in the zone, 1st and 10. A little tight bunch formation to the left, but handoff to Nick Chubb. And that might have pulled him right out of the zone. It does. That one, a tackle for loss, will take him right back out of the zone as he was met in the backfield quickly. 2nd and 11. Back to pass. Blitz coming, but he unloads to Woods right over the middle. Nice little dagger to Woods. Nicely paced ball to get out of the pressure as the Saints have brought a lot on that blitz. And Watson unloads, finds an open man, and does a nice job escaping that blitz with a nice pickup over the middle. 1st and 10. Little dual running back look again, triple option, and he does late pitch out, but it works, and Hunt's free out to the sideline, out to the 20-yard line, call it the 21. That was a wild pitch back. It was like a no-look lateral as he he was running up the pocket, finally late decides to pitch it somehow, but didn't even look. It was a really weird mechanic from Madden. Just looked super glitchy as the ball kind of teleported backwards with Watson still running forward, so he clearly couldn't have looked, and then just weird mechanics. I'm not sure the mechanics work that way for being able to throw the ball that direction from running forward like that. But anyway, ace formation here for the Browns. Hand off to Nick Chubb. He's going to take the contact and blow the defender backwards. Pick up a 3. Hand off to Kareem Hunt is snuffed out relatively quickly. 3rd and 7. Another ace formation here. Hand off to Nick Chubb. He's got a lane, but a nice tackle out there prevents him from picking up more yardage, and so a 4th down coming as the Browns offense is stymied yet again. And so Cade York comes out to put yet another field goal on the scoreboard for the Browns, but with 9:53 left in the ball game, you need more than 3 on these drives. You've got to find a way to punch it in, as 6 points is just not doing your defense and their incredible Herculean effort any justice here in this ball game, with the scoreline 15-6. Yeah, I agree, James. Absolutely a pointless call. They should have gone for that. They need the touchdown, especially with 9:46 left in the ball game. It's stupid. Absolutely stupid to kick a field goal there. Now out of the gun is Dalton. He delayed handoff, and that one is snuffed out quickly as Ingram goes backwards for a yard. Perrion Winfrey in on the tackle. Out of the gun, Dalton, 4-man rush. He unloads over the middle. He's got Landry. Ball comes out, and oh no! It kicked out of the way. The Browns had it, but unable to come up with it. They kicked it back, and Landry comes up with the loose ball, and the Saints retain possession as they're going to run the ball, but held short by this defense. 4th and inches, and an interesting call coming up here to see what the Saints are going to do. Do they go for it here on 4th and inches in this on the their own 46-yard line, or do they trust that their defense can hold the Browns' offense again? It'll be interesting to see what they do. My guess is they probably punt, trusting the fact that this offense has had very little success so far on the ball game, only converting 2 field goals, and as you can see, that's exactly what they do. And so the Saints punt the ball away out of bounds inside the 20, so a nice effort there as the Browns will take over from their own 10. Dual running back look again in the backfield. This time it goes to Hunt to the left, and Hunt is going to pick up 3. Tight bunch formation to the right. Out of the gun for Watson. Kareem Hunt on the left hip. Back to pass. Four-man rush. He unloads to his outlet. That's Kareem Hunt out of the perimeter, but he's only going to pick up. Actually, I guess he's going to lose a yard. 3rd and 8. Now emptying out the backfield. 5-man rush. Pressure is coming, and he unloads. He's got a man. DPJ with an incredible catch. Contested out on the perimeter and a critical first down for these Browns. I don't know that he's always blaming Stefanski. There are lots of targets of Mason Zaire. 1st and 10. A little dump off to Kareem Hunt over the middle. And that one is going to go for 7. But they're kind of dinking and dunking right now. Only 6 minutes left in the ball game, and they've got to score points here. And Chubb, with a nice little carry, is going to pick up a first down. But this offense, is kind of taking their time, being a bit methodical here, and they don't have time to spare. They've got to get this ball downfield and score a touchdown quickly because they are not within reach here. As they are 9 points behind. There is no 9-point score in the game. They've got to score a touchdown, and then they need a field goal. So they've got to have 2 possessions here, and if they don't find a way here, the Saints are going to have an opportunity to milk away the clock. The defense is going to have to step up tall. They're seemingly taking time they don't have right now. They've got to strike. Quit handing off the ball. Throw the ball downfield. What are we doing? 3rd and 3. As the clock continues to tick. 4:16 left in the ball game. And the Saints are sitting here saying thank you as Kareem Hunt fights his way for a first down. And that's important. But again, these Browns are just, taking it chunk at a time, and they can't afford to. They've got to score a touchdown quickly, and then, they're in a position now where they almost have to start thinking about an onside kick to have a chance to win this ball game. And we all know the odds of recovering an onside kick is incredibly low. So 1st and 10, Watson under center. And no sense of urgency for this offense as another handoff to Nick Chubb picks up 4, but the clock continues to tick. They're acting like this is a game-winning drive right now. They can't win the game on this drive. There's a throw downfield finally, but unable to come up with a catch is Woods. And the second effort with another receiver right in the area also comes up empty. 3rd and 6. He unloads on a little slant. He's got Woods on the reception there. That's a first down. But the ball game quickly seeping out of control for these Browns as 2 minutes and 55 seconds is all that's left on the clock in the ball game, and they are still 9 points behind. Yes. God, if only we had coach mode. It is such a travesty that doesn't work anymore, that it's as broken as it is, because this would be the situation where coach mode would absolutely save the day. 1st and 10. Any kind of urgency would be nice. Throwing out to the outside. He's got Cooper, but only a pickup of 5. He does get out of bounds, though, which stops the clock. Now unloading over the middle, he's got DPJ, and DPJ is going to get down to the 10. And we're going to get to the 2-minute warning here with the Browns threatening for a touchdown, but there's so little time left in this ball game, they're going to have to go for the onside kick. That's the only way, hoping that they get that, and with enough time still on the clock to get in enough yardage on that subsequent drive to then kick a field goal. Over the middle and throws a pick. Well, that's going to seal this one as the Browns just inexplicably gave this ball game away as a really ugly throw off his back foot. His platform was terrible there from Watson, and he throws yet another pick to May. It's almost like he felt like May was his receiver, as that was the second throw that looked to be intended for May and not for his own receiver, as the Saints now on the 1 yard line with the ball. Little handoff up the middle. And that one is going to be tackled after, or is going to be stopped after a 2 yard gain. Hey Sean, welcome in. Yes, would love to see DPJ get extended. I think it's very much warranted. He has been an absolute phenom for this Browns team, especially as a 6th round draft pick. He has played way above the draft capital that was spent on him, and developed into something really nice for these Browns. Yes, unfortunately, this is a sim that we cannot give you your time back for. No refunds, sadly, on this woeful effort from Madden to make. I mean, this was about as far from realistic as possible. Now, we do expect a potentially ugly game. Don't get us wrong. It's very realistic that the game could be ugly, just not in this way. This is not the way we expect the game to be ugly. We expect it to be weather-affected ugly, not just inexplicable, what are you doing, clock management and Watson play and, self-realized sacks. I mean, there's just so much ugly, and throwing to the wrong team. It's just so much ugly in this ballgame. So much maddening going on. As the Browns with 1:30 going to get the ball back, but again, just doing underneath stuff that makes no sense. Again, what are you doing? Don't catch the ball there. You need an incompletion. Stop the clock. Now the clock is running, and you lost yardage. What are you doing? As finally Woods is going to catch something downfield, but we're going to get a holding penalty here. Oh no, a roughing the passer. That will stop the clock, whether or not he got out of bounds. But they're going to accept that down to the 18-yard line. That does stop the clock with 45 ticks left. But, man, you are a skosh on time. They've got to punch it in with one play and onside, and then one more play, stop the clock again, which they don't have the ability to without any timeouts, and then kick a field goal. But all of that too much to accomplish in this one. Watson is going to try to find something downfield and dump underneath yet again. Ugh. And that's going to end the ball game in a very ugly 15-6 win for these Saints and First Energy. What an ugly game that was. Just all kinds of maddening going on, and so far from what we expect reality to be like. It probably will be a low-scoring game, no doubt, but that's probably not how you expect it to get there, with just so many things that were just unexplainable and really unrealistic going on in that game. So that's going to end it here in this gross sim. We'll be very happy for Phil to have to force win this one should the Browns come away with a win against the Saints, which is not at all outside of the realm of possible. I expect the Browns to put up a good showing in that game. So, yeah, this one ends with a 15-6 ball game. Really ugly. Appreciate everyone being on and joining us for what ended up being not the most enjoyable sim and far from real, but certainly saw some exciting things from the defense. The defense was very good, but underwhelming performance from this offense leads to an ugly loss at home in Week 16 for our Digital Browns. And so, we'll say, unfortunately, go Saints in this one. And as always, go Browns!